Hello everyone, my name is Shem and welcome to Reflex Kitchen. We're back again with a second video for creating RESTful API to run machine learning solutions. Before we start, I wanted to say thank you so much. We reached almost 400 subscribers in the first week of the channel, which is really nice. I really appreciate all the people who joined. Second, this time I connected the microphone, so hopefully you get a sound from here. And because I also get some comments about that the sound was not clear, or it gets the sound of the room more than my voice. Yeah, so let's just jump in and get started with the front end part. I will start creating a PyQt GUI where we just load the image and we are submitting it to the server. And when it's processed, then we're just getting it back and we are showing it. For this recipe today, we will need PyQt5 and we will need Piz64 and we will need requests library. And if you don't have any of these, you simply can just get it by going to the command line, writing pip install PyQt5 and just that's it. I already have it, so that's why I just kept it. Alrighty, so let's just jump in, and for Sublime I have to save the file before I work on it, so I will just call it Qt front end, and let's just call it image loader.py. And to start, basically you need to have sys, and we have to import from PyQt5 import Qt widgets, Qt GUI, Qt core, and then we start building our GUI. So I will call it image loader. It's a Qt widget Qt dialog, and then we do our initialize function, which takes self. Which should take self, and the parent is none. And then we have the super, which will take image loader, then self dot init, and then parent is parent. Alright. Next step, I prefer to do always like def init UI self, and then we pass it. So here we will be putting all the widgets, all the layouts and stuff like so. And to run this on Windows, we have to use if name equals __ main __. Then we need app equals Qt widgets Q application. Yeah, and this will take this arguments. And then the image loader will be image loader, and then im.show. Then we have sys.exit, and this one will take app.execute _, and now we should have something. Okay, cool. So that's our window that we will start put the stuff inside. Yeah, let's play around and just start putting our layout. So the layout will be self.set layout Qt widgets vbox layout. I personally prefer to write my own GUI by code, like one line by line, instead of using like QDesigner, because most of the time it creates a lot of unused line of codes. So for example, if you change the size of the window and you undo it again, you will always have a line of code there, and that's actually ugly and it's not readable. Yeah, so here we create the layout. I'll just put in bottom, and we need a placeholder for the image. So I will have self.image placeholder, and it's Qt widgets Q label, and then we need the load image button, which should be Qt widgets Q push button load image, and then we have the one, that's ugly, I know that. Then we have another one for submit image and this submit image button. Next, we could actually have also a line edit for the server or the API address, which would be cool. So let's create self API address label, which is Qt widgets Q label API address, and then then we have another one for the line edit, and this one should be Q line edit. That has nothing. And I think we are ready now to put them together into the UI. Let me check it first now. Okay, so now we need to change the size, and I'm gonna do my check here, which is overriding the size hint to return qtcore.qsize. Let's say 600 by 600. Thank you. And yeah, cool. Now let's start. Just put here the image should be here, and for the layout, self.layout add widget. Okay, and we need to put it many times. So we have this. 5. I cannot use Control-Shift-D because my screen recorder will switch to the mark tool. So what's the issue now? Ah, sorry, my fault. Okay, so the image should be here, load image, submit image, the API address, and this one. And here for self.layout, we can add a spacer, add stretch. So now it's more compact. And I don't want to hard code the size or the width of this one, but anyways, we can actually add another stretch here, and the API address and this one should be here. Okay, and then we can simply just resize this one. We don't need that much, so we can make it 300 maybe. Okay, that's fine. So I prefer to go for this one and say set minimum height for example, 300. Okay, and I can just squeeze this one a little bit to 500 maybe. I mean, yeah, it's more dynamic anyway, so it doesn't matter. So here we have the API address, we have load image, and we have submit image. We can also have save image, but it's more about, yeah, maybe we need save image, but we can just do this one later. All right. So to load image, we have to create the signals for this one. So when load image is clicked, connect self.load image pressed, and we can start defining our own functions for load image pressed, and then we self pass. We can just print something, literally. Yeah, we are good. That's the same with the submit image. I wish I can use the Control-Alt-D or Shift-D because this recorder is actually blocking me from doing it. We don't have to use the label itself. I mean, it's okay, but yeah, anyways, now let's go for the documentation because I need to see how can we load file in Qt. So we can simply go PyQt load file dialog. Stack Overflow, please. But let's browse the folder. Anyways, we can just jump between these two. So here it says, yeah, we use Q file dialog, but that's Qt5? Yeah, cool. Q dialog 5, and then we have file, and we can just steal this part from here, and we are doing it here. Just to be sure that we don't have any problems. Q file dialog, I'm sure it comes from Qt widgets. Okay, widgets. So let's see if I click here. Cool. And I would like to use this one. So that's for now. That's fair. Thank you. So I can go on the desktop and just grab my photo, and that's okay. But I don't like the way that's actually being loaded. Don't use native dialog. So I can just simply get rid of these. I don't need them. I don't need any options, and I need file to be gbeg or gbeg. All files, yeah, I think it's okay. Load image. Now we're back to the native one. I can go for the desktop, get my gbeg image, and that's enough. I don't care about this one too. You can just make it generic. Load image, all files, go for my desktop, pick my image, cool. All right. So now we need to also do the submit image, and here when we have def submit image rest self pass, and this should go here. I would like to first print the line edit text. Now we can just open again our backend and run it, so we can make the connection directly between the backend and the front end. Open project or solution, desktop, VFX Kitchen, that's our solution from last time. Okay, and now I will introduce you to requests library, which is actually really cool to work with APIs. It's also helpful if you are doing it with like a regular website, not just your work, not just your local workstation. So we can just try it out with a values controller. Let me not use this one for now. Values controller. So the values controller is it was localhost, and then the port, and then /API/values, like this. And now what we are getting. All right. So that's super resolution. I would prefer to go to values. Okay, so that's my address. Let's use it here as the default text. Okay, so whenever I open it, I will always get this one. That's the API address. And if I press submit, it will print it out, which is cool. Now let's import requests. And basically we do this, we're running requests like in that way. So here we say the API address equals that, and then request dot, first we do the get request, then we are using the API address, and then verify equals false because we don't have any authentication right now. So let's call this request or rec. Okay, I don't want to mess it. And we just print the status code for the request. So if it worked, it should be 200. All right, that's cool. And to get rid of this part here, I already googled it before, and you have to import urlib3 and use some kind of ignore warnings. Import your lib 3, and then we are using urlib 3.disable warnings. We just copy it from here. I'm not gonna lie, I just copy it also as it is. Drag in, submit image. That's cool. So in that case, we will say if the return code is 200, then print request.json. Hello JSON. And zack. Now we got value 1, apples and kitchen. That's directly from our backend here, as you can see. Alright, so let's now get more serious. Here in the super resolution controller, we are going to post an image, a super image, like this model we created already. That means that we should create a dictionary that includes the name and the base 64. Forget about the image path, we don't do this one now. To do this, we can first hard code this one until we see it working, and then we can change it to our real data. So my data will be like this. I have an image. The name of the image will be sham.jpg, and the base 64 will be some data, I don't know. All right. And here, instead of getting a request, we have a get request, we will do post and the same API address, and we will just add one more thing, which is JSON, and it's equals data. So that's basically a post request to the same API that we are getting it from the API address, and these are the data we are sending. And later we will get the result back. I prefer to put it first as a text until we see if it's really a real data. It should be also the same input that we gave. We should get the same result, because if you checked it here in the super resolution controller, the input is image, and then we upscale it, and then we return the upscaled image. But for now, we can just return what we sent. So Control C, Control C. Now we're good. And this one is API/super resolution. So we do this way, and let's check it out. So if it worked, we should return exactly the same data we sent. Okay. Yeah, I know why. In that case, because we didn't actually run our backend. Now we have it. Let's close this once and go back to the front end, run it. Okay. Submit image. And as you can see, that's exactly what happened. We sent this data and we got it back, and that's what happened in the back end. All right. Now, what's next? We should send the real data to the back end. And to do this, we already got that we can load the image, the load image. I prefer to keep this one set enabled false. All right, and when we load an image, then we turn it on. So to avoid the user, for example, of doing this as a mistake. And we can have a variable called self image path equals none, or we can just call it the image base 64, and it's actually none. And here we can just put file name for now, but later it should not be file name. So you can see submit is not enabled. Once we let me copy my image here, because now it's annoying to me going back and forth. So here, if I click submit, okay, I didn't do anything, so I cannot show it. Okay, so now we have to change our image into base64 format, which is basically a JSON. It's a JSON format. which basically is a JSON format. So to do this, I already have it here in my notes. Yeah, we need to import base64. And now we have the image, which is a file name. Then we say with open file image rb as image file. We do, I don't like this way of writing code actually. We can do this here, equals base64.p64 include, and then we put image file.read. Okay, so now I will show you how it looks like to convert something into base64. So now when I load my image and I say submit image, that's how it looks like. That's my image. Okay, and we can do something for now. We can, when we receive the image, we can just save it. And at the same time, I wanted to use the Q label as a PEX map, so I can show the image that I have right now. So when this one is loaded, we can say self.image placeholder.set PEX map qt GUI.qPEX map, and then file name. So when I load the image, I should actually see it here. All right, that's cool. Yeah, I think now we can submit the base64 here. And at the same time, I would really like to have the file name. I think there is a way to directly split the file name from the get open file name, but I'm kind of lazy to do this one now. So I will just do self.image name equals file name. Go to top here. Dot split with the // and then we want to get the last one. So can I print it, please, when I load it? Load image, sham, that's cool. All right, so now we have the self image name. So here I will just change this one with the image name, and here's the base64 for it. And then we will see what we are getting in return. So back to the back end. Here we go. So now we get the image, we upscale it, and then we want to return the image that we upscaled. But when we are receiving an image, we are getting it in base64. So first we have to convert it into let's go where I don't need the image path anymore. Actually, we can just keep it for now. I will keep it. In solutions, we have the image here. So the image, the base64, is actually what we going to work with. And in my notes, we need to convert this base64 into a file again, and I don't have it in my notes. So we will see C# base64 decode image. So here we should have base64 to image, okay, and we have this one. No. Nope. Convert base64 to image and save. Yeah, that's what we need. Try with this. Okay. So it should be this part actually. But I'm not sure if ASP.NET have actually the image. Yeah. No. So okay, that's easy. We go to tools, new get package manager, and then we need yeah, manage. And there is actually a common no system drawing common. That's what we need to install in our project, and then we install it. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And then we go here, control dot. That's what we need. And then these bytes will be our image base 64, and the image format should be this one. Okay. So we will do this as gbig image because it's already in the context. Converting string to byte array. What did I miss here? Yeah, that's what I missed. So we want to convert our image 64 base into image bytes, and inside here we do it like this, and gbig image, save as an output image. And here let's do the same trick with the output file, image file should be in the same direct super res, and then Python, we have output images. We actually need the temp folder again. We can just call this one temp. So now we have output images, we have super res, and then we have temp. What I'm doing here, sorry, temp. And last thing is the image file, or image name. Now we are cool. So let's move this one here, and that will be the output image file. But actually not the output image file, it should be the input image file. So that's our input from the front end. All right, so now the image path now will actually be the input file image. We can call it image path. I don't care. Yeah, cool. And now we should get in return again an image. So after we finish this one, the execution output, we can print it out if you want to check it how it will be like. Console.write line, the execution output, many times so we can read it. But to be honest, I already tried it before and I found something. We need to replace string dot what was it called? Yeah, it was environment new line with environment empty or string empty. Okay, so this one was like this. I'm not a fan of doing this, honestly, but yeah. That's because when we printed out the output from Python, we have a new line. And I would like to, after I get this one, to check if actually the file exists or not. But for now, we should see the output result from the output images. Let's run the backend. Close the front end and run it again. The output should be here. Forget about this, we don't care about it. And run the front end load my image, submitting it to the back end. And what happened? What? Base 64 is not JSON. Okay, byte content and then byte encode. So we have bytes. Okay, so let's see what we are missing in here. So it says that we should do more than just using the encode. So we already used the encode and then we have to decode and then encoding. And what's this? What is encoding? UTF. Okay. So it should be encode and decode. Does this make sense? Okay. And now, let's see again. Huh. Seems like it's working. But that's actually weird, like I didn't expect it to happen. So now we submitted our image to the back end. The back end should receive it, save it again as an image, and then loading this image to process it, as we can see here. And all right, okay, all right, okay, and then we got the output path, which is totally correct. And then we return here again. We came back with another image, but that's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do is we have now to get this path, make sure that it actually exists. That means that the conversion has been done correctly, and then we convert it into base 64, and then we are sending it back in the new object. So let's look. Google C# file exists. File exists, thank you. And we go back again here. We do file exists and then the execution output. So we do if file exists, then we are going to have a function here for, it's a public static returning string convert to 64 and takes input string image path. Okay, and it returns something. You will check it later. So we create byte array called image array equals system in and out file, and then read all bytes from the image path. Okay, and then string, we have the base 64 equals convert to base 64 string the image array. Thank you. So here we return the base 64. That's how we converted here the image path to 64. So if it exists, we convert it. We do image dot base 64 equals this, and then we return image. So if it worked, we will have a high-res image. If it didn't, we just return the normal image. Now we are done. Now we have super resolution here. We have return the upscaled image. We can just forget about this. We don't need to return anything. Actually, we can just remove it, but we can leave it for now. I don't need the image path anymore. But here, when we were doing the solution, there were a part where we can actually also put image path. We can use also this one, execution output, but no one need this one. Need this information. Actually, the artist or the user don't need it. So let's run the back end again. But here we will change again in the front end something. So when we get the respond, As you can see, we get a respond here, base64. So base64 equals JSON base64. Alright, and then we have to do self.image placeholder.setBexMap. And here there's a little trick, because now we want to receive the base64 converted again to an image directly and just load it. We don't need to save it as a file. I just saved it as a file in the back end because when you create a machine learning solution, that's the way how it works. We don't have much control over the machine learning trained models. You know, it's kind of scary actually to play with a model. So we keep the model as it is, like the solution. We didn't change anything, and we are just saving it as a JPEG, and we load the JPEG and keep on the processing. Okay, so here we have to do a high res bex map equals Qt GUI qbex map, and the high res bex map should have load from data, and this data will be base64 b64 decode decode, and then base64, and then we're setting bex map here. So now we are done. Now we have backend upscaling our images, front end just sending an image and doing this. I will show you later how I'm doing it with my laptop. Submit image. So now, see, it's moving. Now doing the machine learning stuff, scaling it. Ah, boy. Okay, so str object has no attribute b64 decode. Ah, such a basic problem. Oh boy. So it should call base64 returned image. Okay, that's a long variable, but just because it's kind of annoying. Here, sham, do it, submit. Nice. So as you can see here, forget about the solution, if it's really good machine learning solution or not, but just the concept of, hey, we can actually use a less powerful machine to send this image to the back end and do the stuff for us and then send us the result. So I think that's it. We could do the same with my laptop. You know, we can just use the IP address of my computer as the API address. So instead of using localhost, I have to write down my IP address and whatever number, and it's exactly the same. So it will be just calling my server, my workstation, to process the image and send it back. We can save the image, we can do whatever we want. So again, we reached like 40 minutes this time. I didn't wish to go for 40 minutes, but we had to do it in anyways. Yeah, if you have any questions, just write down in the comment section below, and please like and subscribe and share it with your friends. And the next video we will be more talking about the pipelines in general, because that's just one part of the pipeline. There's many types of pipelines for asset management. There's like the trackers, more for the production side, more inside the software. We have to discuss this to make it clear what we are going to show next and what you prefer to see in the next videos. So I wish you a pleasant day and see you next time. Bye bye.
Now, here comes the music. Boom, 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 boom. I'll shoot you right down. Boom, 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 boom.